it's great following my friend, Rush Holt. He and I partner working on all of these issues, and as you all know, in a competition between him and the computer Watson, just 6 months ago, Rush Holt won and Watson lost. Okay? So you don't have to be a nuclear physicist, rocket scientist to understand all these issues, but it doesn't hurt. So that's so that's why it's so great to be here with Rush, and thank you, Alex, very much for having me here with you, and thank you for this report which you're rolling out today. I mean, I think it basically is bringing a lot of reality to what is still a misunderstood area of the global economy. 194,000 megawatts of new electrical capacity was installed worldwide last year. 194,000 new megawatts. Of that, 1/2 was renewable power. So this is unbelievable. I mean, this fact has been locked into a witness protection program. Okay, well, the information doesn't get out. Huh? Right. So that's a phenomenal number. Huh? Big success story. As people saying, oh, it'll never be able to compete with coal, never be able to compete with nuclear. 1/2 in 2010. Huh? What does 2015 hold? What does 2020 hold? If that's where we are already. 17,000 megawatts of solar was brought online worldwide last year. 17,000 megawatts. That means for every new nuclear power plant that went online last year in the world, 4 times as much new solar capacity was deployed. 2010, 4 times as much new solar deployed as nuclear. As people keep saying, well, how can it ever compete? Solar deployments have grown more than 1,000% in the last 5 years. 1,000% in 5 years. We now have 5 megawatt wind turbines being deployed. Wind power is now being sold for as little as 3 cents per kilowatt hour in the United States. Now that's still with the tax breaks, but 3 cents a kilowatt hour in the United States today. To say the writing is on the wall would be putting it mildly. There is a global renewable energy revolution going on. It is unequivocal. Unfortunately, what's unequivocal to most people, like global warming and renewable energy revolution, has a tendency to get confused in Congress. And it gets confused because big oil and big coal spend a lot of money to make sure that people don't understand this central technological reality, this revolution which is taking place. According to Global Status Report, renewables deliver nearly 25% of the global electricity supply today. Okay, say that again. Today, renewables actually provide 25% of all electrical supply. Now, a lot of that is hydro. A lot of that's hydro, but still, it's a renewable. And it's a sector that is growing by leaps and bounds. Now, I had legislation that passed in 2009 through the House of Representatives that would increase the renewable electricity standard to 20% by 2020 in the United States. And it passed in the House of Representatives in 2009. It was defeated in the Senate, and you can imagine the view that the nuclear and the coal industry had towards that legislation over there. All you need are 40 votes to kill anything over there. And I have legislation that I've introduced to have it go to 25% renewables by 2025 that I've now introduced. Again, aiming towards this goal of having an enormous revolution that is built upon the incredible success that has already occurred. Now, granted, my renewable electricity standard excludes existing hydro, excludes it, which already in the United States makes up for 7% of all electrical generating capacity. But let's think about where the technology will be in 14 years, 2025. Today, onshore wind is already competitive with natural gas in many parts of the country. 5, 7 cents per kilowatt hour, unsubsidized. Can I say that again? In many parts of the country, 5 to 7 cents a kilowatt hour, unsubsidized. Same with geothermal and some biomass projects, 5 to 7 cents a kilowatt hour today. Utility scale solar is a bit more expensive, about 12 to 15 cents per kilowatt hour, but that price is coming down. Now, there is a Moore's law in effect for solar, and there has been since the 1970s. Every time deployment of solar PV doubles worldwide, the price drops by 18%. It's been an immutable rule for now close to 40 years. At least that was the case, and Rush talked about this. At least that was the case until last year. In response to the effort which the Democrats made in 2009 to fund solar and wind and new batteries, China in 2010 then threw $30 billion in financing behind their 4 solar companies last year. And what happened to Moore's law for solar, the 18% drop? Well, from January 1st of this year until September 30th of this year, the price of solar dropped 42% in only 9 months. So this is what's chilling the bones of the coal industry. This is what's chilling the bones of the nuclear industry. This is not supposed to happen. This is a telescoping of a time frame in the deployment of solar and a concomitant reduction in the price that is making it more and more affordable and pulling closer the day when renewables are generating electricity at the price of coal. And we know what that day means. Okay? And we also know what that day means in terms of who makes that breakthrough. Because whoever makes the big breakthrough with the solar technology that reduces it down to the price of coal will become the wealthiest person in the history of the world. Because that person will have the patent, will have the copyright, on something that's going into villages in Africa, Asia, South America, rural America, who will need to build these big electrical generating facilities if solar is now at the price of coal. So that is what they are most afraid of. When consumers are able to get their electricity cheaper from solar panels on the roof than from a coal-fired power plant 100 miles away, what will they choose? When consumers can drive the same distance on either $4 worth of gasoline or 75 cents worth of electricity, what will they choose? This is what's driving the automotive sector. This is what's driving the utility sector, the coal, the nuclear sectors of not only our country, but of the whole planet. And so that's the big issue for us, okay? That we can't trade the US addiction for foreign oil with an addiction to Chinese batteries and Chinese solar plant panels. We will have squandered the economic opportunity of a generation. We need a plan in our country. We need a plan. We don't have to fear the Chinese, but we should respect them. They have a plan. What is our plan? And there is no plan as long as the Republicans continue to side with these older industries that see the writing on the wall, and they're just trying to make sure that they push back the day when these new technologies become competitive.